This week's active Amber Alert is on the Skelton brothers, Andrew, Alexander, and Tanner. Tanya and John Skelton had 3 boys: Andrew, which was 9 years old, Alexander was 7 years old, and Tanner 5 years old, and they lived in Morenci, Michigan. In September of 2010, Tanya and John divorced. And as most divorced couples with children, the divorce included court-appointed visits for John. On Thanksgiving of that year, November 25th, 2010, the 3 boys went to John's to spend the holiday with their dad. When their mother Tanya, who had primary custody of the boys, tried to pick them up the next morning as scheduled, John did not answer. Tanya tried calling John and got no answer. She went to his house thinking maybe he didn't hear the phone. She knocked on his door, no answer. Her knocks turned into bangs. John never answered the phone or the door, so Tanya called the police. When the police arrived, they entered John's home and found it in disarray. Tanya said he completely destroyed the inside of his house. If it could be broken, it was broken. If it could be cut, it had been cut. The police issued an Amber Alert for the boys, which included John's blue Dodge Caravan. Police later found John at a hospital. John had attempted to self-harm but survived and was hospitalized, first at a general hospital and then at a psychiatric facility in Ohio. John told the police he gave the boys to a woman named Joanne Taylor, whom he had met on the internet several years before, and asked her to return the boys to their mother. He said he did this because he planned to self-harm and didn't want the boys to see it. However, the police did not believe this story. Police found that John's blue Dodge Caravan was on the Ohio Turnpike along the Michigan-Ohio border between 4 and 7 a.m. on November 26, and asked anyone who saw it to come forward. Immediately following John's release from the hospital, he was arrested. He was eventually extradited to Michigan and charged with 3 counts of felony parental kidnapping, 3 counts of kidnapping, and 3 counts of false imprisonment. At a court hearing in December of 2010, John changed his story, saying his sons were in the care of an organization, which at first he refused to name. He later said it was called United Foster Outreach and Underground Sanctuaries. The police believe no such group exists and have found no evidence of such group. In July of 2011, John took a plea deal with prosecutors and pleaded no contest to 3 counts of false imprisonment. He will be released from prison in November of 2025. John has stated that his children are still alive, but will never be returned as long as their mother has custody of them. The last time anyone besides John saw the boys was at 5 p.m. on November 25th, 2010. At the time of their disappearance, Andrew was 9 years old. He was 4'1", weighed 57 pounds with brown hair and brown eyes. Alexander was 7 years old. He was 3'9", weighed 45 pounds with brown hair and brown eyes. And Tanner was 5 years old. He was 3'6" and weighed 40 pounds with blonde hair and blue eyes. Andrew would now be 22 years old. This age progression photo is what is believed he would have looked like at 19 years old. Alexander would now be 20 years old, and this age progression photo is what is believed he would have looked like at 17 years old. And Tanner would now be 18. This age progression photo is what is believed he would have looked like at 15 years old. If anyone has any information about the Skelton brothers, please call the Morenci Police Department at 517-458-7104.